Is it up to Mourinho? Who is this down to?
I think it is to a certain degree, Dan, and I think we got a glimpse of it last week in the friendly against Sampdoria when he played the three at the back. When he plays that five in the middle of the park, it gives Pogba an opportunity to get further up the field, and I think he can do both sides of the ball, Pogba. But when he gets the ball, 30 yards out, everybody gets off the seat, and I think that's what we're all waiting to see.
And this is what you want to see as a neutral football fan.
Yeah, that's why they paid 100 million for him. Not because he can defend or he can close people down or go back to the centre backs and get the ball. It was 100 million because of what he does in the final third.
Yep.
And particularly with the Matic signing, that's going to give him more time to be in the final third and shows what he's got, because he can do it all. He can score goals, he can set up his teammates, he can see a pass. That's what we want to see as fans.
Be interesting to see how Manchester United kick off. They certainly have spent enough money. We'll be here on ESPN FC, of course, keeping a close eye on everything at Old Trafford.
With a big price tag that has been attached to Paul Pogba's name, everybody has expected him to hit the ground running at Manchester United. And throughout last season, Stevie, many were criticizing him that he wasn't living up to his expectations just yet, or to the price tag. If he ever will, that remains to be seen. But Jose Mourinho seems satisfied, especially after this preseason tour of the United States. He says he thinks he's actually playing on the level as some Barcelona players. Do you agree?
Is Jose Mourinho his coach? I thought he was.
But Jose Mourinho's not afraid to throw anybody under the bus if they're not performing. So
Jose Mourinho's not afraid to open his mouth and say nonsense as well. And I'm not suggesting it's nonsense. Listen, Paul Pogba's got fantastic ability, and his ceiling is at the level of all those players he's talking about at Barcelona and Real Madrid.
But he's not there
But
yet.
he's not there yet. No, I mean, to come out in pre-season in particular and say that, I mean, what's he going to be like when he's fit? Because he can't be 100% fit yet, so what is he going to be like this year? Listen, Jose Mourinho is talking up his player, trying to give Pogba confidence, which is great.
That's what you expect your
And that's
manager
what you
to
expect
do,
your
right?
manager to do, but I wouldn't look into it too deeply.
Why don't you look too deep into preseason form?
Because friendly games...
Because that's where you choose your squad from, isn't it?
Listen, pre-season, first and foremost, is to get people fit. And the manager goes into pre-season hoping that somebody pops up during the pre-season and shows something that he didn't know they had. Because pretty much most coaches, they know who's going to start first day of the season. And I don't think Jose Mourinho's any different.
All right, so Paul Pogba, still a way to go for you, but he definitely can reach the levels.
Absolutely can.
Of
He has
Messi.
all the ability in the world. He's big and strong. He can run all day. He can score goals. He can play passes. Just needs to do it all. Put it all together on a consistent basis.
All right, thanks so much, Stevie Nichols. So Paul Pogba, not quite on Messi's level just yet, or any Barcelona player for that matter, but he could get there.
The problem is the tag. Is a price tag on his back. I hope next summer is not anymore the highest transfer fee, and then the pressure goes to somebody else. Because if his transfer fee was half of it, everybody was saying, "What a buy! He's playing more than good." But everybody expects performance according to that huge transfer fee, and that brings pressure, and that brings sometimes unfair analysis. He had very good matches. He had very good performances. He always sacrificed for the team. If I go, for example, to Rostov, the way he played in Rostov was amazing, the way he did it for the team. So he had very good performances. He had little matches where the performance was not so good, but normally the performance is related to the team. So when the team was very good, he was very good. When the team didn't perform so well, he didn't perform so well. So I think it's a bit unfair. I hope next season some club beats the record with another player, and then the pressure goes somewhere else. Neymar, there is only one. One Messi and one Neymar. There are not two. And Suarez and Iniesta and Piqué and Ronaldo and Bale and Modric, Toni Kroos. There is only one. So they can be only in playing for a club, not for two clubs. So we can't have them. They belong to the clubs, and you can be working very hard tactically to try to improve your team. Tactically, you can try to improve your players, but there are players that are special players, and against that nature, there is nothing you can do. What you can do is when the matches are real matches, you try to compensate the difference of quality with a certain tactical organization, and with that you can win. In football, it's possible that a team is in a certain day better than the sum of the parts. That's possible in football, but the parts are amazing. You know, their relation with the ball is amazing. You know, you can argue about occupation of spaces and tactics and compact blocks, and you can speak about all of that, but the relation with the ball is still the most important thing. And even as an opponent on the bench like I am, is beautiful to see a few guys, their relation with the ball. But I have to say, one of my players today, Pogba, he showed the level. He showed that he belongs to that level.
But you made Matic your man of the match. Could he be a game changer, a difference maker for Manchester United?
Yeah, I still can't believe Chelsea have let him go. I'm not quite sure how they've let him go, why they've let him go. It just does not make sense. I thought he was outstanding today, did everything really well. But I thought, you know, we've seen him a lot over the last couple of years. I just thought he was better on the ball than I've seen before. He was really good on the ball, composed. And you have to say that out there, you know, even his passing was good, long-range passing. You know.
But at Chelsea, his decision-making is the key to him.
Watch him after this. I don't know if the camera stays on. He went on a mazy here. And what it doesn't shoot.
He ran all the way back to his 18. You were purring about him, Graham.
Yeah, I played as a holding midfield player. He's arguably the best around at this time. You know, he does. Players that play in that position sometimes you know, for the untrained eye, for one, but you don't see the value they bring to the team. He all the time is filling spaces. He's not exposing his back to. Certainly not his back central defenders, and if that doesn't happen, you know, no one's running at them, no one's getting shots at you. He when he's on the ball has got top-notch quality, both short and long passing, and he can dribble, and he looks to be a really, really solid type. Great athlete. He's got all attributes to be a top midfield player.
Had the most touches, made the most passes, and covered the most distance on either side in this game. Going back to what Gary says, Graham, do you think that's a business decision from Chelsea rather than a football decision?
One. Well, it's a business one, not. It's a wrong one, any way you dress it up. I mean, why would you strengthen arguably one of your biggest rivals by letting them have one of your best players? I mean, he's a 7, 8, 9 out of 10 every week. I mean, he just contributes in every game he plays. If he's not being great on the ball, he's doing a great job defensively. I think you saw a bit of everything today. You know, good going forward, good holding, and when he got on the ball and he could spread it, he did that as well. The only criticism, not enough goals.
Can you think of one reason why Chelsea have sold him? I can't think of one reason that would make sense for Chelsea. Not even that much money in this.
Well, the only one that we came up with in here was that they've signed Bakayoko, who they think is going to be a similar sort of player, but is considerably younger.
The problem sometimes when you're a manager is like trying to improve something. Now, it's taken a lot of improvement to Matic and Kante last year, and for sitting in front of that back three. They hardly got at Chelsea. You couldn't get at them when them two were involved. And suddenly you might go, oh, OK, let's bring someone in who's got a bit more flair or something. Sometimes they played Fabregas in there. But for me, they've made a mistake.
I'm with Gary. You know, I can't remember him being that good on the ball. You know, maybe at Chelsea they feel like it's someone in who's better on the ball, but looking at him today, you don't need anything better than that.
He is good on the ball.
The physicality as well, which in the build-up to this game, Slaven Bilic described as potentially scary, that United were physically scary. At the end of this game, the midfield was Fellaini, Pogba and Matic, with Lukaku up top, obviously two big centre-backs as well. Is that a frightening prospect now for opposition?
Yeah, the power and the pace. I think I've never seen this League One without there being power and pace and a really strong spine. And I think looking at United there now, it does look like they've got that power and pace. They've got the strong spine. Keep the players fit. They look like they're going to mount a challenge. That, you know, it's day one. It's too early to probably say that, but they do look like they've got the attributes that could mount a challenge for the Premier League title, because they look like they've got everything.
I always think the manager gives you a good indication. Jose looks a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more confident. And I remember the glory years at Chelsea, because it wasn't far from my patch, so I see a lot of Chelsea. And when Jose has his towel up, suddenly his team become very flair-based, and suddenly it doesn't look as pragmatic as it has done, you know, particularly here, where this place is not used to entertainment. But that's more, that'll be him. He'll enjoy that tonight. He will enjoy his glass of wine.
And in that first year at Chelsea, when he fell short, if you remember, he brought in Matic partway through that season, but then Costa and Fabregas, and almost the jigsaw was complete. You cannot believe Chelsea have given him a piece of the jigsaw there in Matic. He's got Lukaku, so they've beaten Chelsea for Lukaku, and then Chelsea have handed him Matic. That to me looks like the type of players that he needed to be able to correct what was wrong last season, and you know, Chelsea have helped him and had a big influence in that.
A belated leaving gift, maybe. He normally does it in his second season, doesn't he? And he could be working his magic here again. But yes, it's very early. Well, he won titles in his second season at Porto, Chelsea twice, Inter and Real Madrid. Could he be about to work his magic for Manchester United? They've got off to a winning start here, beating West Ham 4-0. Looks delighted, doesn't he? Yeah, top for the first time since winning the opening day of last season, 3-1 down at Bournemouth, then beat Southampton here. And then it kind of ground to a little bit of a halt. But this second season thing, Alan, doing it time and time again, wherever he's been, what would you put that down to?
Well, of course, he has great experience of winning titles and winning trophies. He knows what the right ingredients that he needs. And then in the second year, of course, you've got more chance of doing it, especially if you're at a bigger club and you've got the finances to do it. I think what he's got here, what it looks like he's got here, is a great opportunity. That's all we're talking about, because we're one game in. But you just sense in the team, in the spirit of the manager, that this is going to be a strong challenge from United this season. And the other record that was mentioned to me today, something like he's never lost on a Sunday. You know, these are records that he stacks up, and it's incredible. He really is very, very clever at controlling games with his teams, and that team definitely has that look of control.
It's true, he's never lost on a Sunday at home in his career as a manager. Do you think he has the platform here?
Just a bit. What do you mean? This club not big enough?
I'm talking about the squad.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're a team. Any way you dress it up. Last year they underperformed. Some very good players in that dressing room, and this year he's got a better understanding of the characters he's working with. So he'll be pushing some and maybe being kinder on others, and bullying some maybe. And he's bought players in that are better quality again. You know, he's had a year to look at it. He decided what he wanted. Sounds like the board have gotten what he wanted, although I think the noises are he'd like one more. But he's now got a squad that can compete for this. I'm going to say it as well, compete for the Premier League. He'll come very close this year, and I think he'll go a long way in the Champions League. But I just think when push comes to shove against the really good football teams,